I was just by somebody, and they were talking against Yankel Führer, who was the Manal of Belz when my son started there off years and years ago. And it was a big help. He was a mechanech who understood the children and understood the classes, and it was so much help. Even though my son was quite a clever boy, he was still helped, even though more, through a good manal. And this manal worked at class A1 to class 2 to class 3. Actually, class 1 made you ready for class 2, and class 2 made you ready for class 3. And I said to this person, you've got no idea what a good manal is. Yes, but he's not. I said, you should have stayed here and in Yeshiva Torah, and he would have achieved much more than going back to Eretz Yisrael and going to Belz. Just because he was a Belz Chus and the roof told him to go back, I think he should have stayed here, and it would have been a much more influence in the town, because he was a real good mechanech, and you don't get these people, and very rarely do you get these people. Education a good education is very important, and we have this a lot by marriages. Marriages usually are successful where a marriage comes from a successful parent, who the children have seen a parent who has worked together. The parent, the husband and the wife have worked as a team to love and care and want each other and be respectful to each other and understanding each other and understanding the problems each one might have. My husband might not be so good in this, and the wife helps him, or the wife might just be good in that, and the husband helps her. This is what they really need. It's not today. Everybody wants everything from the husband. The wife wants everything from the husband, and the husband wants everything from the wife. And then they don't get everything what they want, and they get divorced. Really, in life, God puts you together not to have everything, but to learn from each other to how to survive life without having everything, and liking each other even though you don't have everything from this person. This is what it's about, and that's why there's so many divorces. I hear this week there's been 8 separations alone in London, which is terrible, and they get divorced in 2 or 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, they're divorced, they say they can't get along and finish. They don't put any effort into it. The point is not that they don't put any effort into it. We marry our children at 17, and we expect them, the girl, to be already understanding of what married life is about. I watch sometimes people getting ready for a chasna, girls, and she says, I want my chasna to have this Dave, and this dress, and that dress. That's not the most important point of the chasna. The parents help them. We must have this photographer, and this video, and it must be like this, and the walking up, there's this car coming bringing me to the function, to the chuppah. It's very important to have a nice dress, a nice chasna and everything else, but that's not the main important thing. The main important thing is afterwards, the days afterwards, to get along with your partner. And we don't teach the children. We have to educate them what marriage is all about. If we educate children what marriage is all about, maybe they'll look at it more successful. Maybe they'll be more successful in marriage. We don't educate the children. That's what's wrong. That's why these marriages are failing. The same way as I told to the Ruf Panther, I said to him, if you're the Sata Kedishin, then you should educate them afterwards, call them in and see whether they feel sich als ordentlich and they've got no problems. He says, I'm not a social worker, I only get paid as a Ruf. Very nice. Nobody's a social worker, but at 17 they must get married, and by 18 they must have children, and by 20 they should have 2 children. That's the most important thing for the parents. Whether they are successful, then we have children who have from divorced parents, and how we're going to marry them, all problems in life. Problems which we are man-made problems. We have later on in life, we're going to have in 20 years' time, man-made problems, because these 2 people didn't get along and they had children straight away. Maybe they shouldn't have children straight away. Maybe they should get married at 17 if they want to get married, and explain what marriage is about. And when we see after a year or 2, by 21, that they can get along and they understand what married life is about and they have a chance to adapt to each other, we should allow them to have children. Who says we should allow? We don't allow every sick person to have children. My wife couldn't have more children. The doctor said she's not well enough to it, and so we had to. We weren't able to have so many children. We went to a Ruv, we discussed it with the rabbi and with the Ruv and with the doctors and everything else. And the same thing should be today. Children who get married at 17 are still little babies. They were 16, they were in school, 17 they're out of school, maybe not even they might be still at school, and then we want to be married and mummies and daddies and everything else and understand married life, what it's about. And here we get people after 8 years, 10 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, some even 3 weeks, but finish, goodbye Charlie. Something's wrong with our education system, with what they see at home, what they contemplate marriage is about. That's what something is wrong with. That's why there are so many divorces. And if we won't do anything about it, we'll just say, Gabilok, I'm a shagan, and let him talk what he wants and say what he wants, then very well, go on. But you've got 20 divorces in a season, 25 divorces. In 10 years' time, you'll have 50, and you might even quicker have 50. And then in more time, you'll have more. Because more people will say, I don't want to stick with this person, I don't want to. He's still a baby. baby. There's still a baby. He's not married. He's not mature. And she'll say, the husband will say, she's not mature. And he'll say, she's not mature. And they won't get along, and they'll fight and they'll argue and will divorce. And the parents will say, we're not talking about where parents don't tell the truth. They don't even tell the whole truth, the full truth to the young girl or young boy about the partner they're going to marry, whether they're sick or not sick. That's something which is disgusting, and I think should be eradicated completely. Has no place in our marriage, where we should say if somebody told a lie to somebody else, we shouldn't even bother to give a get, that the marriage is null and void.